Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. It's of course another Fantasy Premier League video, and in today's episode we'll be looking on how I'm going to line up in Game Week 9, my preview, and I am planning something a little crazy. If you did watch last video, I want to say a massive thank you. It is the most viewed video I've done doing FPL content, and it's one of the most viewed videos that I've done even in my Football Manager content creation. I know I'm a small little channel, but to see something of a video that has more views than my total subscriptions is always a nice pat on the back. So if you did enjoy that video and you're here for the second time, give it a subscription and give this video a like to promote it out. More importantly, Football Manager 24 is coming out next month. However, the beta should be here this weekend. And with that being said, if you want to check out content regarding that and more importantly see if I can do better than Ange, which would be quite hard to do because Spurs are top, give this video or this YouTube channel a follow because that will be my beta say. Now, with that being said, let's get straight into Game Week 9. If you haven't watched the last video, I absolutely outlined how I got inside the top 50k, etc. And this is just going to be a little bit of a planning video. And the main reason we're planning is I'm going to start with the big news, drop mic thing. I'm planning on triple captaining Erling Haaland. That is correct. I did mention in the last video, and that was the start of the international break, that I was looking to captain Salah, maybe Son. Don't know what we're going to do with Haaland. Me and my mate Paul do a podcast, and I brought it up in the podcast a couple nights ago. I'll try to put the Spotify link into the description below. So you can hear the full 50 minutes about why we want to captain Erling Haaland. But in short, Brighton have been woeful. They have injuries at the back, and Mr. Erling Haaland hasn't scored in his last two, has just come back from international break, and I honestly think he's prime ready to go. In this home fixture last year, he got 2 goals, one was a pen, and if you're telling me right now he gets to, 20 points, give or take, with bonus points, and you triple captain him to 60, it could be a big old week where he could go flying up the ranks. Let's look at this in a little bit more in depth. If you have a look at Lamptey, who is on my bench, who I'm actually slightly roaring that I have, but I'll explain that situation in a second as well. If you have a look at history, not fixtures, they've conceded in every game they've played. And of late, they conceded 6 to Villa, 2 to Liverpool, and it should have been more, and they should have had a red card. They did only concede 1 to Man United and Bournemouth. But with the injuries, etc., they are looking a little bit unsettled. Villa absolutely tore them. And the thing that I actually like about Brighton in terms of the football club, but a thing that might hurt them here, is they're not scared to play football against anybody. You saw it against Liverpool. They turned it over in the box. Liverpool won a pen. It should have been a red card. It wasn't. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to speak about football here too much. But with that being said, if they're going to do that against City, away at City, this could be, especially with the injuries they've got and the defensive fragility that they've had, this could be a 5-6-7-1. And if that's the case, Erling Haaland is going to score goals. He's come back from the international break, which I'm going to outline in a second. I think he's fit and ready to go. He's definitely playing this one. And the only other time that you're planning on triple captaining Erling Haaland, at the moment at least, is if you look at the fixtures in between Sheffield and probably Newcastle, they're going to fit in this Brentford game. Yes, it's 2 games at home, but it's also around the Christmas break. There is a slight little bit of worry with me that if we hold out for that game week, we might get news in the Sheffield game they're resting Haaland with the amount of fixtures there are. I know that didn't really happen last year. I know it's something that they did talk about when he signed to manage him, but I think if there's ever a time they will, it will be Sheffield at home because they should have enough quality to beat Sheffield. Also depends on where they sit in the league and how, what their form's doing, etc. But I think there's potential. The other reason I want to do it is this rank here. It's 48k. If I nail this, and sometimes you just got to be brave, and maybe it's the inner poker player in me. You sometimes just got to lick the stamp and send it. When you think it's a good decision, you do not back down and you make the good decision. And if it fails, it fails. And if it goes well, it goes well. If I nail this and he goes nuclear here, we've got people that don't own him, A. We've got people that will not triple captain him around me at all, B. And C, if I nail it, this rank could go anywhere, top 10k, top 1k. It could be astronomical. The second point to that is if you look at the rest of the team, it could be a week where if I nail it, it's a 100+ point week. which last year there was a few of because there are a lot of double game weeks. This year, I don't think there'll be too many 100+ game weeks. Turner's got Luton expecting a clean sheet. Trippier, Udogie, and Cash all play at home. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Cash is going to get a clean sheet against West Ham. I doubt it. However, I do think at home attacking returns is there. But I am expecting a clean sheet from Newcastle and probably from Fulham. If you look at my midfield, they're all playing at home. Madison and Son play Fulham. Very good fixture for him. Salah's arguably a captainable option. Diaby against West Ham. West Ham, in these bigger games do absorb a lot of pressure. Diaby could get a return. And I think Gordon, after being rested and playing only in the Cabarro Cup because of his red card, is primed to start out there on the left wing with the injury to Harvey Barnes. And if you're playing for Newcastle in a big fixture, we've already seen previously, they can go nuclear. Obviously, my only worry is Darwin not starting, but I do think he's worth holding, obviously. And I picked Darwin not for this game week. I picked him for last game week against Brighton and obviously the preceding game weeks against Luton, etc. With this being said, my team's in a really good spot, and there is a world where nearly all my players could return, and if I nail a triple captain on Haaland, I could potentially fly up the ranks. And this is where I've got to sit here. My goal at the start of the year was to finish top 50k, and if I want to protect this 48k rank, I should follow the herd. I shouldn't triple captain here. I should wait for a double game week where it might be better, risk some rotation, but put in the triple captaincy, where a lot of other people around me will. But if the goal's to win and the goal's to make your best decision, I think triple captaining Haaland this week is very viable. It's like me, as I said, in a poker player, where you got like ace deuce suited in the small blind, and the button, or like last night in my poker tour, I had ace 4 on the button, and we have a very, very, very accomplished player in the small blind who's going to free bet you correctly a lot. Sometimes for 35 bigs, you just got to lick the stamp and pile it in his eye. And that's the same thing I've got to do to the competition here. I might need to just lick the stamp and send the triple captaincy. I also want to put out here as well, we just played against Norway as well. They just played against Spain, Norway. He did play 90, which obviously, look, I expected, but this was on the 16th. It's now the 18th, 2 days later. He should be back in Manchester. They have no more friendlies. And look, if that's the case, he's back in Manchester. He trains overnight tonight for us here in Australia. That's a few days of rest, a few days to get back into the swing of things. And Haaland has not scored in his last 2. I don't remember the last time that was a thing. So honestly, look, I know he's XA against Wolves and Arsenal or whatever. I think if there's ever a time City come out the traps and fly, it's after 2 losses and they go, you know what, no, we need to be back on the top of the Premier League table. And I think Erling Haaland would be the guy that will fire him there. I think that is a very good plan. Now, this should actually throw my team into a little bit of disarray. And you might be thinking, Damien, why? Because I want to make another move. Now, Lamptey, don't get me wrong, fantastic footballer when he's playing. He's aggressive, but he doesn't play every minute. And this was a pick that I would never want free Biden assets with the rotation potentially. So with my intention of, if I get 2 fixtures, the Fulham Everton or the Everton Sheffield fixture out of him before Stupien comes back, that is a dub. However, there is a world where we can now make 2 transfers, triple captain Haaland, take a -4 and do something really cool. His name is Kostas Tsimikas, and I'm a Liverpool fan. And with the fixtures we've got, Everton, Forest, Luton, Robbo's out for about 6 weeks for dislocated shoulder. He now becomes, pound for pound, or value for value in terms of dollars, the best defender to own. And you might be thinking, that's crazy, Damien. We'll be on left-hand side and corners. We're more aggressive down the left-hand side with the bombing on fullback because Trent inverts. And I just think Tsimikas only knows one way whenever he plays for Liverpool, and that is to get up the field and get in and around the box. And, very much Liverpool of 2 years ago where both fullbacks went on. I think Kostas is the guy. That means I need to free up 4.4 mil, which is hard to do. I think my only area that I'll do it is actually move Madison before the Fulham game, which before Fulham and Palace I don't like doing, but it is potentially something that I could do. I think that is the option that I would go with here to get Kostas Tsimikas into the team, and that would probably be for a Matoma for future weeks, is probably something I would do. And I would probably go Madison to Matoma, which is a big call, and I don't want to potentially do it, and this game's not going to let me because I made already pre-planned changes, but that would free up enough funds for me. It means that I'm currently like 0.5 out. There might be some other moves here. I don't think moving Cash down is an option because if you've got him, you've got to hold him. I don't like moving Son. Diaby down to, Eze's injured. Ward-Prowse, maybe, frees up just not enough funds anyway for me. It's one of those ones where if I was to make this move, if we go and do it here because it's maybe a better visual for you guys, right? I need to find 0.3. Apologies for Costa Simicas. Right? Where do we find 0.3 from? It could be Darwin down, but are you selling Darwin before our fixture run? No. It's not Salah. It could be Madison. It could be Madison. And if it was Madison, maybe you take a punt on a guy called Luis Diaz for a couple of weeks and then drop him to Matoma. If it wasn't after an international break, I'll take a 1 week punt on Diaz, then move to Matoma. Is an option. It's not Son. And to be fair, look, I do like the Arsenal fixtures incoming. Sheffield, Burnley, etc. I don't think it's the time to sell Son to Saka just yet as well. Which means that this move might be hard for me to make. However, there is a move that we could definitely do. Could I maybe move Madison down to Bowen? Potentially. It's not the worst idea. Because they go Everton, then they get Forest, Burnley, Palace. And maybe we do something like this. And that gives me 0.2 in the bank. And maybe that's the way I go with it. Maybe we get Bowen in. And then it means I miss out on an asset from Azam Matoma. Maybe. And we triple captain Haaland. I still think the best move for me to make is actually this move here. That is Matoma. Ride him against, what's it called? Ride him against City. And then play. And to be fair, if I was to get Matoma, I'll probably bench him for this week and actually go to a back four of Trippier, Cash, Udogie, and Tsimikas for Everton, Fulham, West Ham, and Palace all at home with Turner. Drop Matoma to the bench, being that he was effectively Madison on this screen, and play a 4-4-2 of Darwin, Haaland, Salah, Son, Diaby, Gordon, Tsimikas, Udogie, Cash, Trippier, Turner, and a triple captain, which I think, on paper, looks really good knowing Costa's nailed and expect a clean sheet from 3 of that back 4. That could be potentially the option. My only issue with that is I've had James Maddison since the start. I have a lot of money tied up in James Maddison, obviously. And if you look at the fixture run here for Maddo, Fulham and Palace, I don't want to sell before then. Perceivably selling for Chelsea, Wolves, Villa, etc. is not bad. But the only reason that I'll have to do this now, so if I wait 3 weeks to get Tsimikas in, that's only 3 weeks left of fixtures to play Costas in. And if you have a look at the team here, obviously, if you wait 3 weeks, it's Brentford City before we get Fulham, Sheffield, Palace, and by then Robertson could be back. So it's either you do it now to get 3 really good nailed game weeks, 2 at Anfield, or you don't do it at all. So the plan is here that we're going to wait until it's a little bit later in the piece. But the plan at the moment is this. Triple captain Haaland, remove Madison to Matoma, bench him for this week knowing future fixtures are good, and get Costa Simicas in the start and start the next 3 game weeks. With that being said as well, then my future game week plans would be to move to an Arsenal defender for Udogie, which will probably be Saliba, maybe Zinchenko depending as well. And then from there, look to find a way to Saka that doesn't involve selling Son. Hard to do that one. Very hard to do indeed. Depends. If Son's form takes a dive, it makes it very easy to get to Saka as well. And that gives me funds to free up the rest of the team as well. With this being said, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this little video. It isn't going to be as popular as the wildcard video, but as I said, just give it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes, I am seriously considering triple captaining Erling Haaland, and yes, I'm considering taking my first hit of the game week to do it. I haven't taken a hit yet this season. I think if there's ever a time, take the hit when you're triple captaining because you're making those 4 points back. With that being said, guys, thank you very much. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. And lucky last little bit of advice from me is in this game week here, I currently sit second in the standings. I play, I'm pretty sure, top. And in my other one, I sit fourth. And I play top as well. It ain't a bad week in terms of my paid head-to-head leagues to triple captain to beat a couple guys ahead of me. Catch ya.